Hello viewers, Super GT here. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the tracks in Gran Turismo 7. We've had a fair amount of information about the circuits that are in the game, so we're going to take a look, work out exactly which ones are in and which ones aren't in the game. I'm going to be making a ton of content about Gran Turismo 7, so you know what to do. Subscribe. With that said, let's jump in. Okay, so from the State of Play live stream we know the amount of locations and the amount of layouts in the game. 34 locations, 97 layouts. They also showed us the amount of locations in each region of the world. So in the Americas there's 10, Europe 15, Asia, Oceania 9, and that's a total of 34. So let's take a look at the European tracks first. Okay, so this is a screenshot from the Gran Turismo 7 website. And this shows 14 locations in Europe. So there's 15, so there's one missing. But all of the tracks here are tracks that are in Gran Turismo Sport. So there's nothing actually new on this screenshot, apart from perhaps one thing, which could be important detail. And that is down here, Sardinia is counting as 2 locations. So the road track and the windmills, which is the rally circuit. So that's actually split into 2. But that leaves one location which isn't accounted for on this map. The 15th location for Europe is Deep Forest. You can just see it on the bottom right there. Available circuits is on the list. It is also shown on this part of the trailer. So you can see there, it's on the map. It's in Switzerland. And for Asia, Oceania, here's the 9. So Autopolis, Suzuka, Broadbean, Kyoto, Fuji, Tokyo Expressway, Tsukuba, Mount Panorama in Australia, and High Speed Ring. That's all 9 there. And then that leaves 10 in the Americas. This is where things get a little bit tricky. So you can see 6 of them there. Blue Moon, Laguna Seca, Willow Springs, Trail Mountain, Northern Isle, and Daytona. So they are shown on this map here. So that's 6, but that leaves 4 other locations. So if you look at the bottom left of the map, so just down here, you can see a map of Brazil. So that is Interlagos. And we definitely know Interlagos is in the game. It was shown quite extensively during the State of Play trailer, as you can see here. So we've got some gameplay with the GT3 cars. So Interlagos 100% is in the game. So that leaves 3 more unaccounted for on this map. It's this one here in the middle, which I believe is Colorado Springs. There was this shot in the State of Play, which shows Colorado Springs. You can see at the bottom there, on the bottom row. There's no other tracks on there that I haven't seen before. But yeah, Colorado Springs is definitely in the game. There have been some snippets of Colorado Springs, and when they do this livery part here, they do actually drive it around Colorado Springs in just a moment. So that is that's the final corner of Colorado Springs there. And then one of the other dots, I believe, is Special Stage Route X, which is shown here during the mission races. You see the very long straight with the very big curves on each end. Absolutely incredible circuit, isn't it? It's just the GOAT. It's the GOAT of Gran Turismo circuits, obviously. We know that. It was also shown here during this Porsche VGT trailer that we got a couple of weeks ago. So that is clearly Special Stage Route X. And yeah, it's definitely in the game. And one of the ways we might know that this is in America is because on that plane on the right it says Fly America. Now that plane could have just flown anywhere in the world, I guess. I'm deducing that Special Stage Route X is in the United States. So that leaves just one location remaining, and I believe it to be Fisherman's Ranch. Kazunori Yamauchi was quoted as saying that this game, Gran Turismo 7, will feature all of the tracks that are in Gran Turismo Sport. So it stands to reason, therefore, that Fisherman's Ranch will be in the game. It's a long rally course for those that don't. Not exactly my favourite track. Would have preferred some others, but it is what it is. So I do believe that accounts for all of the 34 locations that are in the game. So one question you may well have is, where is Apricot Hill? And the answer to that is, I don't actually know where it is in the world, but that's not what you meant. You meant, where is it in the game? So we've seen during the Find Your Line trailers that some of the lines that they were showing, when you added them together, it formed some of the tracks, and that was an early teaser. So you can see here, for example, you add these lines together, it turns out to be Deep Forest. And so the question you may well have is, where is Apricot Hill? Because if you look at this line that's been showing at the end of most of the trailers, it very much does look like Apricot Hill. You've got the long line into a very sharp right hairpin, leads back out, and then you've got the curves at the top there. And that very much does look like Apricot Hill to me and to many others. So if you ask me, there's 3 possibilities as to the whereabouts of Apricot Hill. Number 1, it will be released as DLC. So maybe it's ready already, but it's not going to be in the game at release. They'll put it into the game a few months down the line or something. Number 2, Sardinia isn't actually 2 locations, it's 1 location, and that space could be for Apricot Hill, or Fisherman's Ranch isn't in the game, and that could be the spot for Apricot Hill. Or option 3, it isn't actually Apricot Hill, and we're all just a bunch of idiots. If I had to bet my life on it, I would say option number 1, it'll be DLC. So you might be wondering what the fuss is all about with this Sardinia being split into 2 locations. It just looks like it's 2 locations, so it's 2 locations. But the reason why this is perhaps a bit interesting is because in Gran Turismo Sport, Sardinia is actually 1 location. So they've actually grouped the rally course and the road tracks as 1, whereas in the screenshot here and the trailer for Gran Turismo 7, it's split into 2 separate locations. So a quick comparison here between GT7 and GT Sport. GT Sport currently has 29 locations. GT7 we know will have 34, so that's a difference of 5. So what are the 5? The 5 are an extra Sardinia, Deep Forest, Trial Mountain, Daytona, and High Speed Ring. And then every other track that's in GT Sport will carry over, so all the others are the same. So it's a bit frustrating that one of the extra locations is just that they've split an existing one into 2. That's a little bit annoying, but again, if that's how it is, then it is what it is. We just got to deal with it. So let's take a look at the total list here. So I've grouped it into with the regions. So you see the 10 in America, 15 in Europe, 9 in Asia/Oceania, and that totals 34. The numbers just there next to each circuit, that's the amount of configurations. Now I've gone with the amount of configurations in GT Sport. When you total all of those up, it comes to 88. Now we know there's going to be 97, so that leaves 9 that we don't know about. So some that could easily be there. Trial Mountain, I've put 1. Deep Forest, I've put 1. High Speed Ring, I've put 1. We don't know if there's going to be 2. There could always be 2 because you could just do the reverse version. So that's 3 that could be added quite easily. Daytona is going to be another new one. We know there's going to be 2 because of the Super Speedway, the oval, and then the infield course, the sports car course. So that's definitely going to have 2. So let's say that is the 34 locations, and they're just going to add a couple more layouts that we don't know about. Suzuka could have the west course added. At the moment, we only have the full course and the east, but we don't have the west one. Catalunya could possibly have some added. At the moment, it just has the 1, so the GP layout. But there is actually a national layout, which cuts out most of the first sector. And then there's like a club layout, which is basically the first sector. The Nürburgring could always have some added, because there's lots of configurations with the first section. So turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sometimes they cut that bit out. There's also the sprint chicane. So out of turn 4, rather than going down to the left, right, you turn right into a hairpin and then avoid the bottom section of the GP section. Tsukuba could possibly have one added because coming out of, I think it's turn 5, the right-hander under the archway, there is a little chicane there. That could be added as a separate location. But I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say that they should add Special Stage Route X in reverse. That's the track that everyone wants to see. So something the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed during the State of Play trailer is in the cafe here, one of the tracks unlocked, as you can see, is Sainty Croix, which I'm definitely saying correctly. So this suggests that some of the tracks you have to unlock by playing through or collecting a certain amount of cars. So here, collecting 3 Porsche 911s, and then you unlock that circuit. That was kind of clear anyway from this shot here, at least in the career mode, to do races at certain tracks, you're going to have to progress somewhat in the career and your car collection. Now, I did want to take a look at some of the new tracks coming back. So Trial Mountain and Deep Forest, we know they're coming back into the game. And actually, they're slightly different than before. They're slightly reworked. So we're just taking a look at this gameplay here of Deep Forest, and it's a classic circuit in the series, but the way that they've done it in this game is not going to be exactly the same as before. So you're going through this tunnel, and the track does seem somewhat elongated. So they have kind of stretched it out, and it's this section here coming up towards a new corner. This is a completely different corner that was not in previous versions of Deep Forest. So it's a very tight hairpin, and the flow of the circuit was very nice before. So that will change the flow of the circuit for sure, but I do think that kind of corner will very much boost overtaking. So I mean, just looking at it again, I can just already envision the chaos and carnage going into this big braking zone, especially on the last lap. I can already see my SR just dropping. I can just already envision it happening. We also know that Trial Mountain will be slightly different. The straights look elongated to me, and of course we have the different final corner. So if we take a closer look at the map there on the top right, it's the final corner, this section here. So it used to be a left-right chicane. It still is a left-right chicane, but it's a lot tighter now than before. You used to be able to kind of take it flat out. From what I've seen, there's no actual gameplay of that corner. You've seen it in some screenshots. For example, you can see in this screenshot here, you're looking there. That is the final right-hander, which corresponds to that corner. That's the pit lane going across. And then that's the final corner. So you're going to head into quite a big braking zone. So again, like the Deep Forest alteration, I think that will improve overtaking. Also enhance carnage, presumably. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like they've kind of cordoned off the infamous grass verge where many of us met our fate back in the older games. So how about Daytona then? So this is the only real-world track that's to be added from GT Sport into GT7. So we know that there's going to be the Super Speedway, so the oval. We also had this gameplay a couple of weeks ago. So instead of going straight on for the oval, they turn left into the infield. And then this is the traditional sports car course where they do the 24-hour. And so we know that there's a speedway. We know that there's this infield course. There is also a motorbike course. Instead of turning left here, he's about to turn left. You turn right into a little section about here, just there. Whether or not it's in the game, I don't know. It is a motorbike course traditionally, but there's no motorbikes in Gran Turismo. So if I had to bet money on it, I'd say it's not going to be in the game, but hopefully I'm wrong. And for anyone wondering about Dragon Trail, so we see here, this is Dragon Trail Seaside, and that's definitely coming back. So on the map it says Dragon Trail, it doesn't say Seaside or Gardens. So that is Seaside. But we can see on this screenshot of the state of play, A2, the license test there, Dragon Trail Gardens. So we know that that is in the game as well. So perhaps a question now is which tracks will be added as DLC? Now, obviously, I'd love to know what you guys would like to see added. I know I have a couple of tracks I'd love to see. If there's any track that we might have any clue that might be added, it'll be Apricot Hill, based on the Find Your Line trailer. But apart from that, I mean, I would love to see Silverstone. Road America, I think, would be really good. Watkins Glen as well would be very nice. Perhaps even Road Atlanta. I mean, there's lots of tracks. I would love to see lots of real-world tracks. And then even having said that, I actually really enjoy a lot of the fictional circuits. Not everyone's so keen on the sort of the fantasy tracks, but I'm actually a big fan of some. I think some of them are really good, and be it new ones, completely new ones, that'd be cool. But also some classics. There's so many that they could add. Autumn Ring, Grand Valley Speedway, always a classic. El Capitan, Midfield Raceway, absolutely legendary circuit that is. How about a bit of Tokyo R246? Something else as well is Polyphony actually own the license to Pikes Peak, and only they can use it. And currently, they're not using it. So that license is kind of wasted. But please do let me know your thoughts on the kind of tracks that you'd like to see added. Maybe you just want to see real ones. Maybe you want to see the older fantasy ones that were in the previous games, or just brand new ones completely. But I'd love to know what you think. What you make of the list of 34 tracks that are in this game. Personally, I would have liked to see a few more. I don't think we're too far away from having an amazing list, like a 10 out of 10 list. But I don't think we're quite there. I think if they added 2 more real ones and 2 more classic ones from the past, then I would have been like, wow, that is like pretty much bang on. But at the moment, it's just a little bit lacking. slightly. I'm not underestimating the amount of work that has to go into making these tracks. Obviously, it's a lot of work, but a couple more would have been great for me. But that is the end of this one. Thank you so much for watching. Do get yourself subscribed for plenty more GT7 content. As corny as it sounds to say that, you're in the right place. So just get yourself subscribed. It's the right thing to do. But yeah, have yourself an amazing day. Let me know your thoughts on the tracks, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.